Welcome, guys, to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and we'll be talking about Bitcoin and how it's going to be able to hold up. We need to see ourselves hold the line here, or else Bitcoin's going to be going down to 70K. I'm expecting later on this week. Okay, let's take a look at the charts here. Let me go ahead and flip the camera around so that way my TikTok streamers can see what I'm looking at here. This is what we're currently looking at. Bitcoin price is currently at $81,900 and declining. We're down about 1.95% today on Sunday afternoon here. It's 1 p.m. East Coast time in the United States. It's April 6th, and you can see I have this here on the charts. We have the Bitcoin price. It needs to hold this line. I'm looking at the 5-day chart here. Each of these candles represents 5 days, okay? And I just noticed that, like, hey, we need to hold this line or else it's going to be nasty in cryptocurrency world. It's going to be pretty brutal for Bitcoin if it cannot hold this $80,900 level. You could just call it 81,000. We need to hold $81,000. Bitcoin usually gets a bounce off those levels there. As you can see in the previous 5 days, we've had some candle wicks here, but we never closed below the $81,000 line here. Okay, so this line needs to hold in the sand. This line in the sand needs to hold for Bitcoin, or else we could see 70K coming here for Bitcoin, right? And you know, what kind of 70K world? Well, we do have here, you know, some previous resistance, right, which could be a line of support for Bitcoin, okay, at like you know, 69K or even 70K. Could be where Bitcoin decides to get some more support. You know, I am looking at the Bitcoin price right now coming down, but I do see that the MACD right here, okay, this moving, the MACD is showing that there's less selling pressure as we continue going down. So that is starting to give me some bullish divergence vibes here. We could see Bitcoin get a bounce off these levels, but you know, we could still go down a little bit lower just to give people a good scare before Bitcoin goes down to before Bitcoin actually gets a bounce, a significant bounce. What could cause that significant bounce? What could cause Bitcoin to start going back up again? Well, if the Federal Reserve interest rates start to go down, right? There's talk about them easing off of quantitative tightening and doing quantitative easing, possibly. There's talks about them doing an interest rate cut later on in April, or possibly the June meeting. Okay, that could cause Bitcoin to go up in price as they start opening up the spigots on the liquidity machine here. We also have other countries around the world which are doing their own stimulus packages, like China. The European Union possibly might start doing some stimulus here to get their economy going. We do have a global slowdown because of tariffs, right? Tariffs are a big issue in the investment community here, and that is causing markets to slow down. But it might also cause the governments around the world to start doing some stimulus packages to keep their economies going here, and that would actually be beneficial and cause the price of Bitcoin to go up. I see Jim is in the chat here. You're interested to see what happens when CME opens tonight, and Jerome Powell flip-flopping on tariffs being inflationary was funny in the recent meeting. Yeah, he doesn't know if they're transitory inflation or if it's going to be you know, really bad inflation, but he's trying to hold the line as far as whether or not they're going to lower interest rate, but I believe they're going to do it sooner rather than later. That's probably why Bitcoin is kind of getting some bottoming action going on here. near the $80,000 level, but I wouldn't be surprised if we come down to $70,000 here. I'll do a quick Fibonacci analysis to show you where we got some levels here for Bitcoin. We come up to like the $109,300 area down to this impulse move here, where we impulsed about like $69,000. You can see that Fibonacci is saying that $79,000 should be a key level for us to hold here. Because if not, then we're gonna make probably the full retracement all the way down to 69K. Okay. Yeah. 70K. 70K could possibly be in the cards here for Bitcoin. Because it was a significant resistance area. 69, 70K was a significant resistance area for Bitcoin. Let me go ahead and pull up the VRVP, see what the VRVP has to say, okay, about what levels we could come down to here. And you can see that if I zoom out here, I'm using the green and red bars here in the VRVP. You got this blue line of point of control, which is where the heavy volume is at, and it's saying that 67K could actually be in the number, where Bitcoin might get a reaction and go to higher prices. For like a little bounce off that level there. Okay. I believe that 69, 67K should be the ultimate line in the sand there. And if we lose that point of control, then we still have like high volume here at 63K, and then even more volume at 60K. I did a recent Bitcoin short video, a TikTok video, saying that Bitcoin could come down to the 60K level as a huge line of support for Bitcoin, right? But yeah, if we're not able to hold 80K, we're definitely going to go in the 70K area, and then it's just a matter of like, are we going to be bouncing off the levels that we saw here at 76K back in March, early March here, okay? Where we did see Bitcoin at 76K, or do we come a little bit lower to 76K and come into like the 71, 72K area? I don't know, guys. Give me your thoughts about Bitcoin here. I see that King Louis is in the chat, and he's saying that Bitcoin closed below 80.9 or 81K, and we will see lower. Yeah, that is the main gist of today's live stream here, is that if Bitcoin can't hold this 81K area, which is just slightly above 81 right now, we want to see it go a little bit higher to make ourselves feel better here. But if we're not able to hold 81K, then 70K is coming up next, somewhere in the 70Ks. Cam and Caden saying, don't stress it, we're going up. I'm not all too stressed, but some of my stop losses probably will get hit on some of these cryptos here if we do go down to like 79K. Right, I think I got a stop loss on Bitcoin at 79K and another one at 76K. Okay. And then some of my other stop losses will probably get triggered as well on the other cryptos that I own. I'm not willing to lose, all the profits that I made this past bull run cycle that we had. Okay, I think it's prudent for you guys to have some stop losses just to protect some of your gains and some of your money out here. Let's see, Jim's in the chat saying that it's also entirely possible we just range on that support for a few weeks. Yeah, I mean, there could be a range about to be created at 70K for Bitcoin. But right now, I just said that, on the chart here, we need to hold this line. I put that in the text. 81K needs to hold. All right. Anything less than 81K, people start getting more fearful. The bots start selling. Let me go ahead and put the moving average support, see what the moving averages are saying for support here. We do have this on the 5-day chart here. We do have the 50-day moving average. Let me just get rid of the VRVP real quick. We do have this green line that's showing that we could get some support on the 5-day 50 moving average at 70K. Okay, we have $70,000 showing up as possible support area for Bitcoin. Okay, let's go into the 3-day chart, see what the 3-day has to say. 3-day has, you know, the 50-day is hanging out at 78K. So 78, 79K could also be a number where we get some support at. The blue line here, the 100 moving average, is showing us we could get some support at the $72,000 area for Bitcoin. So there is some support, lines of support on different time frames here, depending upon which one you're looking at: the 3-day, 5-day, the daily time frame, the weekly time frame. There are some lines of support. There are some people that are interested in buying Bitcoin at 70K. Okay, so I feel like we're not gonna just fall down and head to, like, you know, I have a buddy of mine that thinks Bitcoin's going down to 40K. I'm not sure where he gets that. You know, that's pretty much cutting it in half right now. Maybe that's where he gets his number from. But yeah, there's some lines of support here. Let me just go into the daily chart here. Daily chart, you know, we've lost that 200-day moving average on the daily time frame, and we've been struggling to recapture it. Right now, the daily 200 moving average is sitting at $86,700. So, you know, we could possibly head lower, because anytime you're below the 200-day moving average, in my opinion, you're in a bear market. Okay, until you can recapture that daily 200 moving average. Okay, so how far low could we go? You know, we see that some support at 70K, 72K, and 79K. Those are some lines of support that I would think you guys should start drawing on your chart here. Matter of fact, I'll put a horizontal line here. We got 70K, 72K is another one that we could get some support at. And the most recent one, the one that will most likely hit first, is the 79K area. So you got some lines here to work with as you try to capture. So if we lose that 79K, we could come right down straight to 72K. Okay, there might be some support at 76K, but we don't know how strong that support's going to be. 72K could come into play, because if I go into the 3-day chart, it's showing that the 100 moving average is sitting at that 72K area. Okay, we're just trying to game plan where Bitcoin might go if we're going to continue being bearish here, guys. We know the bullish case is that we need to see Bitcoin get above the 200-day moving average, right, on the daily time frame. If we can get Bitcoin above 86K, right, then the bots will key in on that. Like the trading bots that are out there, with everybody that puts in their trading bots on Bitcoin, once they see Bitcoin above 200-day moving average, then they can start pushing the price up to probably about 92, 93K, where the 50 and the 100-day moving average is currently sitting at right now. But I mean, we got to get above this 200-day moving average, which has been acting as resistance now. Okay, so that 200-day moving average is acting as resistance. I can see Bitcoin getting a nice leg up once we get past that 200-day moving average at 86K. All right, Jim's back in the chat here saying that if we head down, you're more interested to see how we interact with the 50-day EMA. Okay. And then you're saying here that the 76 bounced nicely off of it. All right. You're looking at the EMAs here. Okay. I think I could probably add that into my chart here, see what the 50 EMA looks like. Is that on the daily time frame? Okay, you're talking about the weekly time frame. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to the weekly time frame. Right now, on the 50 simple moving average is showing that there's some support at like 57K. Okay, but you're over here talking about the EMA. Let me go ahead and see if I can add that indicator in there real quick here. Exponential. And let's go ahead and turn this into 50. We'll make that yellow. And yeah, you want 50. So you're looking at the 50 EMA, which is this yellow line. and that one's showing some support at 77k. Okay, so 77k, 76k might be a target zone. We'll see how 79k holds up, but if we lose 79k, then yeah, 77k could come into play here. All right, let's look at let's see what's. Do I have any requests for any other cryptos besides Bitcoin? You bought $7,000 worth, Dr. Now. You said you bought $7,000 worth of Palantir, and you're YOLOing it. Okay. All right. We can probably take a look at Palantir later on in the live stream here. King Louis saying that closing below the 3-day could have us go lower. Yeah, let's look at the 3-day chart on Bitcoin real quick here. I'm gonna get rid of this EMA for now, and let me go ahead and put my regular movement averages on. 3-day a 3-day chart is showing a 50 moving average is sitting at 78k. You're saying that if we lose that, we could go lower. Yeah, definitely. If we lose that, we'll most likely go lower. All right, let's see. Do I have? I'm gonna see if there's any other requests. If I miss any comments here. No, I don't think I did. All right, so we'll look at Palantir, and then we'll look at Caspa. Let's go ahead and go with Palantir first, since that was the first request. Palantir. And guys, if you have any other stocks you want me to look at, feel free to go ahead and make that request. Right now, we're looking at Palantir stock, currently trading at $74. Oh wow, had a bad day on Friday, down 11.4%. And this is what Palantir is looking like on the charts here. Let me go to the daily time frame. Yeah, the daily time frame. Palantir saw better days back in the middle of February here. We got as high as about 125 bucks. You lost the 50-day moving average support on Friday. You could be coming down to the 100 or even the 200. The 200 is currently sitting at $57, and 100 is sitting at $67. Okay. Looks like you also have a possible low here that could provide some support, and that one is showing that the low is at $63. So we'll see how $63 and $67 holds for support on Palantir. I think that might be some good areas to start putting in some buy orders in if you're gonna go long on this stock here. Okay. It's not as brutal. I've seen stocks that have been hit a lot worse than Palantir. Okay. But Palantir is above the 200-day moving average, so that leads me to believe that this thing could still be bullish, especially if this tariff news starts to blow over and we start getting some deals on the tariffs. You might see this thing start to whip itself right back up to higher prices here. Let's go ahead and turn the VRVP, see if the VRVP is going to show any confluence at any of these levels. And you can see that the VRVP, right, has some high volume here at like $85, and then also some high volume currently where we're sitting at like $75 is a high volume node for Palantir. Okay, but let's see, the moving averages are showing support at like $63, $67 for Palantir, and I think you got a high volume node here like 61, 62. So I think 62, 63, the low 60s should be a good area to start buying Palantir if you're gonna be bullish on the stock here. Okay. I think I already gave the bearish case. The bearish case, I do see some support in the $60 range, but yeah, if it does lose $60, then next line of support is that 200-day moving average, which is sitting at like $57. So maybe you might be able to get Palantir. And as the price starts creeping down, that moving average is going to start creeping up. So it might actually reflect that the 200-day moving average is probably going to be at $60 by the time the stock actually drops down to that level. So I would key in on $60 as a good buy zone for Palantir. Okay. All right. And then we had Casper as a request. Let's take a look at Casper. Oh, sorry guys. All right. Casper is currently trading at 6 cents right now. And right now, Casper is below all the moving averages on the daily time frame here. Casper, right, is getting rejected every time it tries to get up above the 21 EMA here. This 21 EMA is a good line to have on your charts here. I would add that is the 21 exponential moving average. You'll see that every time price gets away from it, it comes right back to it. Every time it gets away, it comes back to it. Okay. And right now, that 21 EMA is just acting as a resistance line. Every time it tries to get to it, it gets rejected and comes back towards that 21 EMA and gets rejected again. So, Casper is having trouble using that 21 EMA. We want to see it actually get above the 21 EMA for us to start becoming bullish here. But I think I have seen this before on the when I looked at this chart before. We have seen some bullish divergence start to creep up. We have for Casper here, we have higher lows starting to show up on the chart. Okay. Actually, this would have been the higher low here, but look at this, right? We kind of broke out of that that higher low trend line here, so there could be some more room to the downside if this doesn't get validated real soon here. You could see this higher low trend, this bullish divergence, just get rejected, and we could come back down to lower prices on Casper. Now, if Casper does continue to go down to low prices, how much lower could it possibly go? I'm zooming out here, trying to get some more data for the VRVP. And the VRVP, these green and red bars here, are showing that we could get, we have a high volume node here at like 4.5 cents. So 4.5 cents could be the target level for Casper in the short term here. And if it does, you know, that would make sense because you do have a lot of sideways trading action here, about like 4.5 cents back in like September of 2023. Those are the prices that Casper was at, right? Casper was trading at, you know, back in August of 2023, in September of 2023, it was trading at 4.5 cents here. So that could possibly be the next area of support for Casper if it's not able to hold up, if it's not able to stay above 6 cents here. Bullish case on Casper is you want to see this 21 EMA start curving back up, and then you want to see this price get above the 21 EMA and use this white line as a line of support instead of using it as a resistance. Okay, because this is what it looks like on a bull trend here, right? If Casper was using the white line as support, you got yourself a nice bull trend. Every time you come down to the white line, you get back up above, you come back to it again, and then you got that nice little bull run here in November of 2023 where Casper actually shot up. And it used that white line as support, okay, during a bull trend. So you want to see that going forward on Casper. You want to see the white line start curving back up, and then you want to see the price get above the white line and use that as a line of support instead of using it as resistance. I appreciate the likes, the comments, and the follows and subscribes here, guys. I see I'm getting some new followers here on the TikTok stream. Appreciate that. All right, so we just looked at Casper and we looked at Palantir. Let's see if we have anything here on YouTube. Any of my YouTube subscribers saying anything about what kind of cryptos they want to look at. Jim over here says that he wants us to look at AXP. Okay, we can take a look at that. And then you said here that miners might be dumping Caspa still. You know the profit to mine is a net loss right now. Yeah, the Bitcoin miners are not doing so well. With the price of Bitcoin falling, they took on a lot of debt to buy a lot of cryptocurrency mining machines. It's not looking so good for the miners right now. I actually own some Bitcoin mining stock. I have Clean Spark and Marathon. All right, we'll take a look at AXP. Okay, American Express. American Express company currently trading at $233, down 5.7% on Friday, down $14 that particular day. Wow. Oof. Oof. Okay. American Express. It sliced through all the moving averages and it lost the 200-day moving average. Let's zoom in here a little bit on American Express here. Okay, you lost that 200-day. I mean, you lost the 200-day back in beginning of March here on Friday, March 7th. Then you came back, and then you did a bearish retest, but you got above the 200-day moving average for one last hoorah here on Wednesday, March 26th, and then you lost it again. Looks like you lost it on Thursday, March 27th. Then you did another bearish back test here on April 2nd, and oof, man, now it's a done deal. Okay, so how much lower could American Express go if you lost the daily 200 moving average? I mean, we can look at the VRVP, see what the VRVP has to say as I start to gather some more data here as I zoom out on the chart. And yeah, so you're currently trading at $233 here on American Express, right? And then you got this high volume node here. It looks like $218 could be some support for AXP, Jim. I'm not sure if you're currently in that stock, but you could see if you could buy some cheaper American Express at $218. But man, if you lose $218, you kind of have a big gap here. You do have some volume here at like 211 and 203, but then you got your next like kind of significant volume on the VRVP at $188. Okay, which you know, looking back here, $188 was like a resistance level back in January of 2024 for AXP. All right, I doubt that we're going to come down to these levels here. With the point of control being $150 is where this blue line is saying that a lot of volume was traded at there. You got, you know, some support here at 218 and even some more support at like $187. But yeah, I mean, if it's really that bearish for American Express, then this thing could come down to the point of control at $152. All right, I like using the VRVP. Lets me know where traders and investors were buying this stock at, this asset at. And you'll know that a lot of people will view this as their break even is at $150 because, you know, back in like 2022 and 2023, you know, a lot of people were buying AXP at that price. So anybody that sees the price go down to that level is just probably going to just hold. They're not going to sell. So that's probably why you'll have a lot of, you know, support at that area if it does go down to $150. Makes sense to me, right? I hope that makes sense to you guys as well. Jim is saying that American Express pays a dividend, so you want to go lower before you load up for the 4 to 5 year train ride. That's all part of the business cycle, Jim, right? You know, you get these corrections, these recessions, possible recession, or just a bear market. And you're able to scoop up these cheaper shares, and then over time, as these companies start to make more money, they'll be able to increase their dividend, and you'll be the benefactor with all the shares that you scooped up at a cheaper price. So kudos to you. I think that's a good strategy for you. Good strategy for anybody. All right, let's see if we have any more requests here. I think I'll go back in the cryptocurrency world again. We'll look at some of the top cryptocurrencies. We'll look at XRP, Ethereum, and then Solana. Jim is saying that American Express also has a partnership with Ripple, so curious to see how that plays out. Yeah, that'd be very interesting to see how that plays out. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple. I did made a very popular YouTube short and TikTok video about Ripple. Got a lot of people kind of angry when I gave this pretty serious price prediction that, you know, Ripple here is kind of creating a head and shoulder pattern here on the long-term time frames here, on the daily time frame. Okay, if I kind of zoom out to the weekly, it's even more pronounced, right? You can see that that is a head and shoulder pattern, right? Okay, you got your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder, and the way these head and shoulder patterns play out is, you know, you measure from the top of the head to the neckline, right, which is this yellow line here. You can just bring that measure move to where we could break down at $2.04 here on Ripple, which is where Ripple's currently trading at, right? And it's saying that we could come right back down to like 50-cent area for Ripple XRP. And I got a lot of comments, a lot of hate mail because of that, because, you know, a lot of people saying, "Ah, I'm gonna buy before it gets down to that level. I'm gonna buy up Ripple. It's never gonna go down. That's way too low." Okay, but I didn't make these numbers up. That's the head and shoulder pattern. If you're a pattern trader, you can recognize that this is a head and shoulder pattern, and it's a bearish pattern. It breaks down to the downside most of the time. Doesn't have to be all the time, but it breaks down most of the time. And then if you lose the VRVP is saying the same thing. Like, you know, there's a lot of volume at like 51, 56 cents, and that's where the point of control is at for Ripple. So 50 cents could come back into play again for Ripple XRP. Alrighty. I could try to give you guys the bullish case on Ripple. Let me go ahead and turn on the moving averages here. Actually, let me go in the daily chart. The daily chart is saying that you know, Ripple is above the 200-day moving average. So you got that going for you, Ripple guys. Okay. I'll get rid of the VRVP. It is one of the stronger cryptocurrencies out there. I will give you guys that, because Bitcoin is below its 200-day moving average, which is this, you know, the red line here is the 200-day moving average for Ripple. Ripple is actually above the 200-day moving average, but it lost the 100-day, and I think the 200-day might be next. But bullish case wise, you know, I would like to see Ripple get above the $2.50 level where that 50-day moving average is at. And then if it does, you can see Ripple come right up to like $3, or maybe even retest as highs that it made here in January when it got up to like $3.40. Okay. But you got to see Ripple get above that 50-day moving average at 250. That's going to be a resistance level now. Okay, until it can use it as support to go to higher prices. Alrighty. Let's move on to we'll take a look at Ethereum. And I'm looking at my comments here. Looks like Carlos said, "What strike would this correlate for MicroStrategy? Puts are calling your name." We can take a look at MicroStrategy. Let me. I did say we're gonna go into cryptocurrency world here. Let's look at Ethereum, and then we'll take a look at MicroStrategy after that. Okay. Excuse me. Doing a lot of talking here. Oh my god. Ethereum is at $16.95 here. Lost $1,700 recently. Oh boy. Okay. Here we are looking at Ethereum. And looks like this bear flag on Ethereum is starting to play out here. Okay. I had a measured move here, right, on the bear flag, this yellow line here. You take it out to like where we could break down on this bear flag, it still says that, you know, we could see $1,500 Ethereum coming up into play here soon. Just the way this bear flag is showing. Also with Ethereum, you know, if it continues respecting this descending channel that it's been in since the beginning of December here, then, you know, we could see Ethereum come down and get a bounce off of the bottom of this descending channel, probably at like $1,400 Ethereum. Okay. Jesus, that's not good. Not good. Not good, Ethereum. Now, if I zoom out and I show you guys the VRVP levels here on Ethereum, I'm going to turn on the VRVP real quick. You'll see that we do have some support here for Ethereum at $1,200 and $1,300. This is a high volume node here for Ethereum. Okay. And currently we're already at like the point of control here for Ethereum. You know, looking at this data going back to like August of 2022. This blue line, this point of control, it's like it's showing that 1550. Okay, so alright, so maybe we're not at the point of control, but point of control is saying 1550 should be a reactionary area where Ethereum should get some bids, and people should start buying up Ethereum at that level there. But I can't be bullish. I cannot be bullish on Ethereum until it reverses this trend that it's in. It keeps making lower lows and lower highs. Okay. Right here on the daily time frame, you know, the last lower high was here at $2,100. So like I can't get bullish on Ethereum until it gets above $2,100 and starts making higher highs here on the daily time frame. Okay, $2,100 is where I would start to be cautiously optimistic on Ethereum. I wouldn't be bullish, but I'd be cautiously optimistic. Eventually, I want to see Ethereum get out of this channel, this descending channel that it's been in for like the last 3 to 4 months here. And then I can start being more cautiously optimistic on Ethereum. But yeah, Ethereum is just continuing on the downtrend here that it's been in since like beginning of December of 2024. Very sad to see, very sad to watch. Okay, you wanted to talk about MicroStrategy calls and puts here. We'll take a look at the MicroStrategy stock. Appreciate the request. MicroStrategy is currently trading at $293, up 4% on Friday, on a day when most stocks were going down. Kudos to them. MicroStrategy is currently above the 200-day moving average, right? You use that as a little bit of support, almost like a double bottom in this area, right? This area is currently sitting at $240 MicroStrategy, and right now the 200-day moving average is at $249. So I'm trying to see what your question here was on MicroStrategy. Let me go back to the comments here. You said, what strike would this correlate for puts are calling your name? So you're saying that you're bearish on MicroStrategy? Okay, well, if Bitcoin continues going down, then that would drag the price of MicroStrategy down. But if it does go down, you know, the 200-day moving average is probably going to provide some support here at 249. Okay. And I think I did a Fibonacci analysis way back, you know, in earlier videos here. But it looks like MicroStrategy also has 0.5 Fibonacci at 284. Could be some good support there. And it also has some support at $224. Okay. But I don't like to use one indicator, so I like to see a couple indicators or more agreeing with each other on a price here for some confluence. And I do see here that there is some high volume here at like 257, 260, and then some more high volume at 280. I'm expecting MicroStrategy to just probably stay, you know, if it's not able to maintain 280, then yeah, maybe it comes down to 250. Okay, well, you got some high volume here on the VRVP. You also got the 200 moving average at 250. So I expect MicroStrategy, if you want to put a put on MicroStrategy, if you want to start shorting MicroStrategy, then you might want to start taking profit when this thing goes down to 250 bucks. Because you got the 200-day moving average showing support over there, and then you also got the VRVP saying that there's some volume at that area. So 250 is where I would start buying MicroStrategy and closing out my shorts if I was shorting it. Okay, Jim is in the chat here saying you want to request NKN. Then you've been dollar cost averaging into it. Appreciate I appreciate that, Jim. Yeah, I try my best to be spot on with the volume nodes here on the VRVP. And then you're also here saying that network activity for XRP is also down 60%. That's not good. What happened to all these banks that are supposed to be using XRP? According to the Ripple bulls, they're like, oh, XRP is being used by so-and-so bank. Really? Why is the network activity down? Thanks for the follow there, Big Snow. Appreciate you coming out to the live stream. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, so we can get some more people in this live stream. All right. Jim had a request for NKN. Let's take a look at NKN. Nikon. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of exchanges here. Let's see. Is NKN, is that a stock or a crypto you want me to look at? Okay, yeah, I figured so. NKN crypto. Take a look at it on Binance. Pretty sure there's a good amount of data there. Binance Exchange is saying that the Nikon NKN is trading at almost 2.5 cents here. We lost a lot of moving average. You lost almost all your moving average support here back in January, towards the end of January. So this thing is clearly in a bear market. 21 EMA is acting as resistance. Okay. This line is very crucial. Once this thing starts curving back up again, and you start using that, and I'll draw it out here for you. But if you can get back above that 21 EMA there, Jim, and then you start using the 21 EMA as like, you know, a line of support instead of resistance, making higher lows and higher highs, that's when I would start being bullish on this crypto. But right now you can continue being bearish on this crypto, right? Because it can't get above any of the moving averages. It's coming down right now. But you know, we don't just use one indicator here. We gotta look for other indicators to give us an idea as like where the price could go. I'm trying to zoom out here. Maybe I can go into the weekly chart here. See what the wow. Okay. You got a lot of support here at 2.5 cents. Okay, that point of control is saying that 2.5 cents should hold for NKN here. All right, so you're already at 2.5 cents. So could this possibly be the lowest price you can get for NKN before it goes to higher prices? Might be worth it. Might be worth you know, throwing your hat in the ring here. Looking at the weekly chart, I do see that there is like, we're kind of easing off on the selling pressure a little bit, but we just had this last week here where we had a pretty big red candle here. So like on the MACD, once you start seeing light red or pink coming into play, that usually indicates that you're getting some less selling pressure and you're starting to get buying pressure again. We almost had that here for NKN. The last couple of weeks here, we had some less selling pressure, but then this week here, with I guess with Trump's tariffs, that caused a solid red candle to show up on the MACD. So that's a little bit worrying and concerning here. But maybe you can start picking up some cheaper NKN until things start to get better in the markets here. Let's see. Looking at the we're on the weekly chart for NKN. But looking at the RSI, let's see, RSI is at 31.12 right now. You are creating lower lows on the RSI, so I do not see any bullish divergence showing up here. So, unfortunately, NKN could come down a little bit lower here. A little bit lower here, Jim. Okay. Let me go into the daily. Yeah, oh yeah, we already lost the moving averages on the daily. But even like the daily time frame is saying that you're at the point of control. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna turn on the value area low and the value area high on the VRVP here, Jim. See if we get any more lines here that might kind of tell you like where this thing could go if it goes any lower. Okay, so. Going over here to the VRVP here, Jim, okay? If I click on the settings here. Alright, let's see. Yeah, here we go. I go over to where it says style. And then I click on VAH is value area high and VAL is value area low. And look at that. I just see another line that showed up here. You got a white line here at like 2.023. Is your value area low, Jim, okay? So maybe you might be able to scoop up some cheaper NKN at like 0.023, okay? You might be able to get some cheaper NKN if you're still trying to scoop up some more, okay? But yeah, value area low is saying that is as low as it could possibly get before people start scooping up and trying to bid up the price again. Yeah, if Jim, I haven't looked up NKN, but if you could tell me what it's about, what kind of problems they're trying to solve with NKN, if you just let me know in the chat, I might start looking it up myself. And looks like you can get NKN on Binance. Where else could you buy it if you want to scoop up this relatively cheap crypto right now? Yeah, you can also get it on Coinbase. This Coinbase exchange, Binance, Bybit, BitGet. So there's a few exchanges that this crypto's on. If it's on a bunch of exchanges, it's probably a worthwhile crypto to get into. It's not a rug pull. Especially if it's on Coinbase, like Coinbase is like the last cryptocurrency exchange to list the crypto. So if it made it onto Coinbase, it's probably a legit crypto to get into. All right, let's see. We were looking at a crypto called NKN. I'm not sure what the exact name of it is. Let me see. I could probably take a look at it real quick here. Let's look at CoinMarketCap. I'm a little bit curious now what this NKN crypto is. That's it. The name is just NKN. Let me see. Click on the About section. Okay. All right. So here it is. NKN is called NKN. It stands for New Kind of Network. And it says that it's a network that focuses on creating a decentralized and open source network protocol for public blockchain based peer-to-peer networks to share network bandwidth and internet connectivity. Its main objective is to address the challenges faced by today's internet, such as centralization, scalability, and security concerns. Guys, if you want to learn more about this cryptocurrency, you can go on to coinmarketcap.com here, okay? It's a good website to do your research for cryptos, CoinMarketCap. And you can type in your crypto here in the search bar, And then once you get your crypto that you're looking at, right, you can click on the About section and learn more about it on CoinMarket here. Okay, and these are like some frequently asked questions here. And then if you're really sold on the idea of buying this crypto, then you can click on Markets here, and it should tell you the exchanges that you can buy this crypto on: Binance, Coinbase, Upbit, BitGet, Nexi, Gate.io, KuCoin, Crypto.com. Okay, those are the exchanges you could buy that crypto on. All right. Let's see if I got any more requests here. Chainlink. Blackjack wants me to look at Chainlink. Okay. Guys, if you feel like other people should take a look at this live stream here, by all means, go ahead and share the live stream with some of your other followers here. Appreciate you guys getting the word out there about this live stream. All right, let's take a look at Chainlink. Alright, so Chainlink is currently trading at $11.93, down 7% today, unfortunately. I do got the VRVP up here, and I actually have, with the VRVP, these green and red bars here, the blue line is a very important line. That's the point of control. That's the line that this price is going to magnetically be attracted to, okay? But then we also have the white line, this is the value area low, and then we have this other white line above us, which is the value area high. Could give you your price target if you're going to be bullish. But just looking at the VRVP, it's great for like using ranges and trying to figure out where the price ranges might go to. And point of control for Chainlink is currently sitting at $11.24. So Chainlink could come down a little bit lower here. Okay. And if it loses that level, then you have this value area low, this white line here at $10.22. You might be able to scoop up some really cheap Chainlink at that price. And then once you start to become bullish on Chainlink, I mean, you want to see Chainlink first get above this red line here, this 200-day moving average, which is currently sitting at $17.15. Could be a short-term take profit area. But then as you climb up to higher prices here, you do have your ultimate value area high is sitting at $22.48. That's probably where I would try to sell most of my Chainlink, unless I plan on being in this asset for years upon years. Okay, if you get up to $22.48, you're basically doubling your whatever money you have in Chainlink right now. Because if you can scoop it up at $11 and this thing can get up to that value area high at $22, yeah, that's basically a double right there. Okay. But yeah, Chainlink not looking so good because it's still in the bearish trend here. Okay. Could Chainlink possibly be doing a double bottom? Right. We got the first bottom here at was it $11.84, and then you got another possible bottom here where we're at $11.85, $11.89 right now on Chainlink. Okay. All right. If this is, let me get rid of the VRVP, and I'll even get rid of the moving averages real quick. Okay. If this is a double bottom on Chainlink, then the way that plays out here is that you measure from where the double bottoms are at $11.80 here. And you measure to the top in between the two bottoms, which got as high as like $15.64 here, okay? And you just take that measured move and you just put that on top of the top in between the two bottoms here. And you got a short-term price target that you can see Chainlink get up to like $20, okay? That blue number right there. So yeah, you could buy Chainlink right now at $11 and then sell it at $20, and you got yourself a nice double right there in the price. And Chainlink has seen higher prices of like $24, $25 here, and even like $29 or $30. Let's see, what was that? That was like back in December. few months ago, you saw like $30 chain link here. So, could be a good area to be buying chain link. And, you know, and then you can just game plan, strategize your stop loss. If Chainlink goes, I think if Chainlink goes below $10, you probably want nothing to do with it because there's something wrong with it at that point. So, you know, you put your stop loss at $10, you're only risking about like 10-20% to try and get like 100% a double on your investment here. All right. Matthew McKinley said thoughts on XRP. We already talked about XRP earlier in the stream. I also made a TikTok video not too long ago. You might want to check out my channel and look at my TikTok on XRP. But I'll just give you a brief summary about XRP since you made a request, and I know some people might have missed it earlier in the live stream here. But XRP is, what is it, trading at $2.02 right now. And XRP is creating a head and shoulder pattern, which is bearish, okay? Usually the way the head and shoulder pattern breaks out, it breaks out to the downside, okay? So I am concerned. I'm not saying that this is going to happen 100%, but, you know, it could happen. If it does happen, okay, I just want you guys to be prepared to see that, you know, if this thing does break down from $2, okay, the measured move puts you at like, I don't think I measured that correctly, but it puts you down in like 60 cents on XRP, okay? You could see 60 cents or even 50 cents on XRP, and that makes sense because if I turn on the VRVP here, which is where you might get some support on XRP, you got the point of control is currently sitting at this blue line here at like 54 cents. So you could see 54 cent XRP if we lose this $2 level, okay? XRP bulls have been very strong at holding the line. You know, well, XRP got as low as like $1.72 only for like 1 day, and it didn't even stay there because it bounced right back up. It didn't even close at that price, but yeah, XRP could come down to lower levels if we start losing the $2 psychological level, which we're kind of already at right now. So, you know, be cautious with XRP. Keep your stop losses tight. I probably put a stop loss at $1.90 right now. If you want to keep it looser, you could probably put your stop loss like $1.80 or $1.70. But then after we lose $1.70, we're probably going to come down to $1.50. Okay, so we're not going to go straight down to 60 cents on XRP, but you know, $1.50 could be a line of support here, which is where the VRVP is holding at, like $1.46, $1.50 here. Okay. That's if we're going to be bearish on XRP. You know, the bullish case for XRP is that, you know, XRP needs to get above the 50 moving average and actually use it as a line of support instead of resistance. Now, let me go ahead and turn on the moving averages real quick. I'll get rid of the VRVP, clean things up a little bit. So that green line for XRP, that green line is the 50-day moving average, currently sitting at $2.50. If XRP can get above $2.50 and use that as a line of support, then you're going to come right back up to like $3 and then maybe $3.40 as your short-term price target if you're going to be bullish on XRP. So XRP could be going up 50% or 60% from where it is right now. But overall, you know, if you are a long-term bull on XRP, you could treat this as a bull flag, right? And the measured move on that bull flag has you going up to about $5 on XRP. Okay, so hopefully that answers your questions about XRP. Yeah, I think $4 is a good area to sell XRP. Okay, as you start going up to higher prices, but you know, XRP could go up to $5. Okay, so maybe you hold on to a little bit more XRP and just dollar cost average out, selling it as it goes up to higher prices here. Jim has another request here. You like to request Goldfinch? Okay, yeah, we'll look at the Goldfinch for ya. And DJ thinks we're going down. We're going down first on XRP. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's my analysis there on XRP for like the second time in this stream here. Okay, we'll take a look at the Goldfinch for my buddy Jim here. And that's crypto. Okay, thank you for the clarification. So now we're looking at Goldfinch cryptocurrency on Coinbase Exchange. This one's trading at 51 cents, down 8% today. And this one's been on a downtrend for a while here. Okay, since like this thing has seen better days back in like March of 2024, April 2024, when we saw like a kind of like a mini altcoin season around that time. Yeah, so this thing has been making lower highs, lower lows, lower highs and lower lows for a while here, Jim. Let me go ahead and turn on the VRVP here, see what that has to say. So you got point of control here at 37 cents. This thing could continue going down further here, Jim, on your Goldfinch cryptocurrency. And then you get the value area low at 27 cents. The value area low, for those who don't know, that's where like 15% of the volume was trading at with all the data that we got here. And this is like data going back to like 2023 here. So we got a lot of data here. And the value area high is also where 50% of the volume was traded at for that particular asset. But the point of control is where 50% of the volume was trading at, and that's why the point of control is very strong, especially when you're looking at a lot of data on the VRVP here. And yeah, we got the point of control is just sitting at like, what did I say, 37 cents, 38 cents, somewhere around that area, maybe 40 cents. So you got a lot of high volume here. That could be where you get a reaction and you finally get, maybe a bounce up, and you probably start making higher highs for the very first time here on the daily chart for a Goldfinch. But I would not be bullish on Goldfinch until you start making higher highs, which you haven't, okay? But you might be able to scoop up some lower prices. You might be able to actually get Goldfinch at lower prices at like 38 cents or 40 cents here. You're getting really close, and then you might get a reaction off that 40-cent level there, okay? And then of course I want to see the 21 EMA curve back up, and then I want to see the price to get back up and get above the 21 EMA, which has been struggling. This white line is the 21 EMA. You can't get bullish until you start using that 21 EMA as a line of support instead of resistance. Okay, so maybe that might be coming up here. Yes, that indicator is the VRVP. Okay, that's the indicator that you see on the right there. Okay, you go in Trading View, you can type in VRVP. That's the volume range visual profile. And the way I set up my indicator there is when you first get this indicator, the VRVP, you're probably only gonna have like 24 as your amount of rows that you get. But I add another 0 in there. I want 240. Okay. And then your VRVP will look like this. Okay. If I get rid of that 0, this is what the VRVP starts to look like. It starts having like these huge chunky bars here, and that's not really as useful especially when I'm looking at smaller time frames. So just to get more accurate data, I go into the VRVP here and I just add a 0 into the rows, and then the VRVP looks like this here, and then I can really spot where specific high volume nodes are at. So I don't think I would have got that if I just had it at 24. When I have it at 240 rows, I get like these nice lines that a little bit more precise, a little bit more precision on the VRVP. Yeah. DJ Thor is saying another moon channel. That's not me. I'm not a moon boy. Okay, I give out the bullish and bearish case for almost all assets whenever I look at them. This one right now is bearish. Goldfinch is bearish until it starts making higher highs, which it hasn't done so in a long time. But yeah, I'm not a moon boy. This is not a moon channel either. This is a TA channel. We're just looking at technical analysis and trying to figure out where price might go next. See if we can get ahead of the price. Alright, so we talked about Goldfinch. Alright, and let's see. Trying to see if I have any other requests here. I'm probably gonna look at the Solana. We haven't looked at Solana yet, and then I'll look at AVAX. And then I just got a request for Pepe. We'll look at Pepe as well there, Big Scoop. Appreciate the request. But let's go into Solana. And Solana is currently trading at, oh wow, 110 bucks. Yikes. Okay, Solana is getting beaten down again one more time. Down at 7.8%. And I still got the VRVP showing here that Solana's point of control is at $140. We lost that. Okay, clearly the value area low is currently sitting at like $99, which makes sense. Like that's right next to $100 psychological level. So man, Solana might be coming down to $100 before we finally get some support here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, value. As I zoom out some more, it looks like the volume area low actually came at 90 bucks. So we might actually get $90 Solana here. And then if we can't hold $90 on Solana, then we have a lot of volume here at like $60 Solana. Yikes. Okay. Hopefully we're able to get some reactions before we get to that low of a level here. But I'm expecting like $100 Solana. If we can't maintain 110 and stay above 110, then I'm expecting $100 Solana to be basically where we'll get a lot of support, because that's at like a psychological level, and it's also a high volume on the VRVP here. So yeah, I'm expecting $100 to basically be like a line of support for Solana here. Okay, let me go ahead and get rid of the VRVP here. Let's see if we have any moving average support here. I just got rid of that. There we go. We'll go into like the 3 days. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, so on the 3-day chart, we lost the 200 moving average on Solana. That was sitting at 132 bucks. And then if I go to 5 days, 5-day, it looks like, yeah, 5-day has the 100 moving average at 110 bucks. But I like the fact that here on the MACD, you're starting to get less selling pressure, so buyers are starting to show up here at these price levels. Trying to see if the RSI is agreeing with that. RSI is still showing lower levels on the RSI, so there's no bullish divergence on the RSI, but you do have bullish divergence on the MACD, or the beginning of bullish divergence. Okay. Yeah, I can't get bullish on Solana until we start making higher highs. Let's go back to the daily chart here. So I guess now we're gonna regard $147 as the last high that Solana made. I mean, lower highs, lower lows. How much lower does this thing go? We already said that maybe $100 might be the the line of support here. But when Solana does go back up to higher prices, okay, I want to see it get above this high here at $147 and make a higher high before I get more bullish on Solana here. All right, let's see. What was the other request? We have Pepe. Okay, we'll take a look at Pepe, and then after that, we'll look at AVAX. I'll look on Bitstamp, yeah. All right, so we got Pepe cryptocurrency currently trading at 650, down 7.5% today. All right. And I'm just looking off on the corner of my eyes. I see Bitcoin is currently at $80,000. So we lost that $81,000 line in the sand that I said that we need to hold here for Bitcoin. It looks like it's going to be another rough week. Tomorrow's going to be probably a rough day for cryptocurrency and stock market. Cryptocurrencies usually kind of lead the way during the weekend to kind of tell us like what kind of week we're going to have in the stock market world. So if you're a stock market investor, pay attention to what's going on in the cryptocurrency world, because it's probably going to tell you what's going to happen for stock market. Cryptocurrency is kind of like a leading indicator. But let me get into Pepe here. So Pepe, right? Pepe has lost all its moving averages support back in like late January. Let's see, late January is when you lost the 200 moving average, 200-day moving average, and you barely back tested it, and you came down. Okay. So here with Pepe, I'm just gonna do some chart pattern trading here. I do see a this was looking like a bear flag. Okay. And it looks like we're starting to break down on that bear flag. Let me go ahead and measure out the flagpole here on Pepe. So you got the flagpole. You put it over towards like where you're breaking out right now, breaking down out of the bear flag. And you got a short-term price target where you can see Pepe come down to 380. That might be where you want to put some buy orders in on Pepe, but we don't just rely on one thing here. As traders, we want some confluence. We want other indicators giving us an agreeing with the same price. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn on the VRVP. Okay, so looks like VRVP is showing that Pepe has some high volume here at 300 level. So maybe it comes down to 380 on Pepe, but you'll definitely get a reaction at 314 level here on Pepe, because you got the VRVP showing a high volume here. Looks like, yeah, right, even might be even lower than that. It might be like 290 on Pepe. Okay, which is unfortunate because we were showing some bullish divergence on Pepe. Like buyers were starting to show up here. You had higher lows being formed here on the RSI after you just made some lower lows on price. So it's very unfortunate if Pepe does go down to like 300 level here, because we were starting to see some buyers starting to show up here with the bullish divergence. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. You can't be bullish on Pepe until you get above the last high that we made here. So it looks like this high right here is going to be considered the last high at 918. The 918 level. So once Pepe gets above 918, you can be cautiously optimistic that you're going to be bullish. Or you can at least be short-term bullish on Pepe once you start making higher highs here on the price. Alright, we got another request here for a Shiba Inu. Looks like we got the meme coin people showing up here. Yeah, Skylar, you're right. Indicators are not the only thing that you should be looking at. You gotta have a trading strategy, okay? Um, but I like looking at the indicators. I don't just use one indicator. I'm looking for some indicators that agree with each other, that are showing some confluence, okay? So if the VRVP is, you know, when I turn that thing on, okay, and it's agreeing with like a level that, you know, that has like moving average support, or maybe some bearish, bullish divergence showing up, then I know I can just start to zero in on that price, because, you know, you got more than one indicator telling you that that price zone, that price area is going to be where you can get a reaction, okay? Well, let me go into Shiba Inu here. So here we are with Shiba Inu, currently trading at 1140, down 7% today. And Shiba Inu has been in this descending channel for like the longest time here, and I was starting to get cautiously optimistic on Shiba Inu because we started trading sideways to get out of this descending channel. So this descending channel looks like it's no longer in play here, so I'm going to actually get rid of that now. I don't need that, but you know, what can we make out of this Shiba Inu chart here? If I turn on the moving averages, you can see that we're below almost all the moving averages support on the daily time frame here. The 21 EMA is going to be the first line that could start acting as support for Shiba Inu. And you can see that we tried to get above it, right? We tried to get above the moving average support here towards the end of March. And then we were trying to use that as support, but we came down below it. So it looks like the 21 EMA is still acting as resistance for Shiba Inu, okay? Once we can get above it and start using it as support, and this white line stops going down and starts going back up again, once we see the white line curving up on the 21 EMA, we can be more cautiously optimistic that Shiba Inu is reversing the trend here and is going to start going up to higher prices, okay? But I think we're like kind of like in the middle of bottoming out here on Shiba Inu. We could see lower prices, as always. Nothing's certain in trading and investing, but I believe we are trying to start forming some bottoms here. What would be nice is if Shiba Inu, right, respects this bottom here that we made on March 11th at like 1080. If we can use that as a if we create like another bottom here, right, if we come down to 1080 and then get a reaction and go up to higher prices, okay, then you could count this as possibly a double bottom. And then you can strategize, right? For my friend who's over here asking for strategies, you can, you know, Skylar, you can strategize and put a stop loss right below 1080. Once you see that confirmation, right, that you bottom out and you made a double bottom on Shiba Inu, then you can put a stop loss at like maybe 1000 or 900, in the 900 area on Shiba Inu. And just know that you got a very small stop loss, but you got potential, a lot of upside for Shiba Inu. Now, if Shiba Inu does make a double bottom here, right, and we're just hypothetically, nothing certain here, but we're hoping that we could get a double bottom here. If this is going to be a double bottom, then you measure from the double bottom to the top here for you chart pattern traders here. You got your measured move, and you just put it to the top of the, you know, you put that measured move on top of the top in between the two bottoms here. And it's saying that, you know, Shiba Inu, if it does play out on the double bottom, then you got that number right there, that blue number 1980, could be where Shiba Inu goes for a short-term price target. And that also makes sense why it would go there, because, you know, you have the 200 moving average at 1912, and you have the 100 moving average at 1975. So when Shiba Inu does start going up to higher prices, people are probably going to start selling their Shiba Inu at 1900 because that's going to be a resistance. That 200-day moving average is going to act as a resistance level. And then also the double bottom chart pattern is also saying that 1980 should also be resistance. That should be where you put your take profit at for Shiba Inu. And I think that makes a lot of sense, because anybody that's buying Shiba Inu right now at 11.45, when they start seeing like 1900, 2000 on Shiba Inu, they basically double their money, and they'll probably want to take profit at that level. So there you go. That's how you can strategize getting into Shiba Inu, right? Put your stop loss at 900. If you're buying right now at 1100 or close to 1000, you put your stop loss at 900, and then you just see if it plays out. And if we're bullish and we go up to higher prices, then you start taking profit at like 1900, 2000 on Shiba Inu. You basically doubled your money. All right, Jim is over here talking about Bitcoin dominance, heading for the highest relative strength ever, 70%. Wow, that's crazy. We can take a look at Bitcoin dominance, yeah. But that's those are my thoughts on Shiba Inu. We're gonna look at AVAX, and then I got a request here for Bitcoin and a request here for Cardano. I'm gonna have to save Cardano for last, but we'll get into AVAX, and then we'll look at Bitcoin again. Okay, and then we'll look at Bitcoin dominance as well for my my buddy Jim. All right, AVAX. Let's see how AVAX is doing. AVAX is currently trading at $16.53. Also having a bad day with the other cryptos right now. I was liking the fact that AVAX was creating its first higher low here, and it still possibly could create a higher low, or not, right? Okay, AVAX, I'm gonna have to get rid of this now because we just went lower now. Okay, could this possibly be another higher low for AVAX? Excuse me, guys. Could this be a possible higher low, or are we gonna possibly make a double bottom? You know, we could still possibly make a double bottom on AVAX here. Okay, just like I was talking with the last crypto here. Okay, if we do a double bottom here, right? See, AVAX got as low as 1528. You just measure between, you know, you measure from the double bottom to the top, in between the two bottoms. You take that measure move, put it on top of the top here, okay? And wow, you see how that works? It's almost like magic here, okay? All right, so I kind of like, I mean, measuring from the double bottom here, which could be forming on AVAX, right? To the top in between the two bottoms. You take that measure move, right? I have to do this because I don't think my TikTok streamers were able to see it, but look at that. It puts you right back at the 200-day moving average on AVAX. Okay, if you're using patterns for your trading. And we could see AVAX get right back up to $31. And that's a double from where you are right now. Okay. So maybe that's what we're going to see here on AVAX. We could possibly see a double bottom starting to form. And then as we go to higher prices here, you would start taking profit at that 200-day moving average. Okay, at $30, $31. And you got yourself a nice double in price there. I do like the fact that AVAX is still trying to make some bullish divergence here. We'll see. We'll see. We don't want to go any lower than where we are right now. Then this bullish divergence no longer comes into play anymore. But yeah, we got a low here at 30.28. Let's see, 30.28, and then right now we're at RSI level of 40. Yeah, I'm sorry, no, 35. So you are trying to make some bullish divergence here on AVAX. All right, let's see. We gotta look at Bitcoin again. Oh boy, okay. Bitcoin's below 80K now. We got Bitcoin trading at $79,860. All right. What happened to? Oh yeah, I gotta look at my other chart here on Bitstamp. Yeah. So here we go. We got some lines here that we needed to hold here for Bitcoin. Bitcoin needed to hold 81K and it didn't. So now here we are, like 79K, which is another line of support. If 79K can't hold for Bitcoin, then we're probably gonna come down to 72K. And then we also got 69K. Okay. And where I was able to get those lines of support for Bitcoin, if I go into, I believe, like the 3-day, the 3-day chart time frame on Bitcoin has the 100-day moving average. That blue line is at 72K, so we might get some support at 72K on Bitcoin. And then the VRVP is just saying that, we do have a lot of volume at 69K for Bitcoin. If I turn that on, let me go ahead and turn that on for you. I'll get rid of the moving averages. Okay, so we got the VRVP. Has a lot of high volume here at 69K, but we got the point of control currently sitting at 67K. This blue line could be just another line of support, but a very heavy line of support for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does choose to go down there should be a reaction where we go up and we bounce off that level at 67K. But yeah, let me go to a different Bitcoin chart here. Is this finally the bear flag? Is the bear flag finally playing out here on Bitcoin? I know some people were saying that, Bitcoin could possibly be in a bear flag. Let me go into the daily chart. And yeah, so like, all right. Is this one big giant bear flag that we're in for Bitcoin? Because if it is, then we're breaking out of it over here at this area at 82K, then that bear flag is saying that Bitcoin could come down to 64K. Oh my god. All right, which would put you below that 67K that we were just talking about earlier. Yikes. All right, you guys better hope that Bitcoin holds 79K, because we're probably going to come down to 72K and then 67K, and then this bear flag is saying 64K. Yikes. Let's go into Bitcoin dominance. My buddy Jim was talking about it here. Jim, so we're looking at Bitcoin dominance is currently at 63%. For those who are new to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin dominance is basically, the amount of money that's in cryptocurrency world. Right now, 63% of it is in Bitcoin. Okay, that's how we measure this dominance. So this is the amount of market cap of the total cryptocurrency world. Bitcoin has 63% of all the money in cryptocurrency right now. And you can see on the daily time frame here, this Bitcoin dominance has been in the bull flag, and now we're starting to break out to the upside on this bull flag. And let me just get rid of VRVP here real quick. I measured this bull flag earlier, right over here, saying that the measure move should look like this. And if we take it out to where we're breaking out right now on Bitcoin dominance, you could see Bitcoin dominance get as high as 66% is what I'm looking at here for Bitcoin dominance, Jim. I'm not sure if 70% could hit, but it could. I mean, maybe. Let's zoom out to see if we ever seen Bitcoin. When Bitcoin first came out, the dominance was about 70%. But yeah, let's see. We haven't seen Bitcoin dominance here at 63%, We haven't seen that kind of number since January, February of 2021. But that was because Bitcoin was very bullish. I remember Bitcoin being around like $40,000-$50,000 on its way to $60,000 around that time frame. So we do not want to see Bitcoin dominance going up because the price is going lower, and that's exactly what we're getting right now. But yeah, we've seen Bitcoin dominance get as high as like 70% in December of 2020. For those who are interested in the history of Bitcoin here, Bitcoin had a dominance level of 70% back in December of 2020. But that was for good reasons. That was because Bitcoin was making new all-time highs. We're not making new all-time highs, and yet Bitcoin dominance is starting to creep up on us right now. I mean, Bitcoin dominance has been creeping up for a long time frame. Since like November of 2022, we've seen Bitcoin dominance going up to higher highs and higher lows. And that's because the price of Bitcoin was going up. But like now, Bitcoin dominance is going up because everybody is leaving altcoins right now. That's not a good narrative to have. All right. Let me see what you guys say in the comments. I think we'll take a look at Cardano here soon. Hanson's asking, will the bull run be short this time? You know, Hanson, no one really tells you when the end of the bull run is going to be in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Usually after about 18 months after the halving. The halving was last year. That's when, you know, Bitcoin usually tops out at. So halving was like back in was it April of 2024? So 18 months after that would be October of 2025. Maybe that might be the target date for Bitcoin topping out around that time. Okay. But I haven't used this indicator in a while. There's an indicator that a lot of people use that they say helps predict the top of Bitcoin. And that would actually be the pi signal indicator here, which I haven't used in a long time here. Okay, so we're now looking at the chart of Bitcoin again one more time here. Bitcoin at $79,700. And we got the pi signal indicator. Let me get rid of this here. And the pi cycle indicator is saying that we haven't topped out on Bitcoin, because in order for us to get a top out on Bitcoin, this orange line has to catch up to the green line, and then the orange line usually goes above the green line, and that's the top for the Bitcoin cycle that you're in. Okay, and this indicator has worked in the past. Okay, you have to make sure that you're on the daily time frame here. And you can look back to back here in 2021, right? With the pi cycle indicator, it actually showed that we had a top here on Bitcoin in April of 2021. Okay, that should have been the top for Bitcoin. We had that nasty drop in May of 2021, which is probably what we're getting right now, right? Where Bitcoin dropped from $60,000 all the way down to like $28,000 in like July of 2021. And then we end up climbing back up. And then we got another top here on Bitcoin, okay, in November of 2021. But you can see that the lines, they diverged, and that was it, right? That was it for Bitcoin. Bitcoin ended up coming down to the bear market of 2022 here, okay? So we haven't hit that pi cycle indicator. Okay, that orange line hasn't crossed the green line yet. So I don't think we've seen the top on Bitcoin yet. But could the pi cycle indicator be wrong? Could this thing actually be wrong for the first time? Could 2025 be the time where the pi cycle indicator doesn't work? Okay, because you know we know the pi cycle indicator worked in 2021, and then the pi cycle indicator also worked here back in 2017, right? During the 2017 bull market, you saw Bitcoin go up to like $19,000 in December of 2017, and you can see that orange line, right? It had to it had to play catch up, right? I have to zoom in here now. But that orange line had to catch up to the green line. And when it finally did, that was like December of 2021, December of 2017, during the 2017 bull cycle. And then that was the top. That was the top for Bitcoin back in 2017. Okay. There's 2021 with the pi cycle indicator. And then here's 2024 going into 2025. We're not even close. Okay, we have to get up to like Bitcoin of $150,000 Bitcoin, $152,000 Bitcoin before this we can start saying that Bitcoin is getting close to topping out. If you're using the pi signal indicator as your end-all, be-all indicator for timing the top of Bitcoin. We're not even close. Which is, you know, now you can understand why some people are still bullish on Bitcoin and crypto, because even the pi signal indicator is saying that we're just getting started. Alright, so that's the pi signal indicator. I think it's time for me to get into Cardano here, and then I'm going to probably end the live stream soon here, guys. I'll take a look and see if there's any more requests, but I've been going live for almost 2 hours now here. Kind of doing like a marathon stream. One of my longest streams here. Alright, let me get rid of the pi signal indicator. Guys, if you have TradingView, you might want to look up pi signal indicator. That's a good indicator. That gives you the orange and green lines here. And you want to make sure you're on the daily time frame, because it won't work out if you're on like the weekly or the 4-hour. You got to make sure you're on the daily time frame, and then that pi signal indicator can help you figure out where the top of Bitcoin might be. You just go back there and look it up. If you don't believe in it, just look at how pi signal indicator came pretty close to figuring out the top within like a few days on the top of Bitcoin. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. We're looking at Cardano now. Currently trading at 59 cents. And where is Cardano going next? Cardano needs to maintain this Fibonacci level here at the 0.23 level, retracement level at 57 cents. Looks like we're getting close to losing that level there. And then where could Cardano go there next? I think if Cardano is not able to hold 57 cents, then we're probably going to come right down to where we were trading at back in like September and October of 2024, where Cardano was trading at 35 cents. Okay, 35 cent Cardano could possibly be where Cardano goes if we're going to be bearish. Now let me go ahead and turn the VRVP, see if there's any more lines of support. The VRVP for Cardano is saying that there might be some support at like 45 cents. You got a high volume node at that level. And then you got the point of control. This blue line is currently sitting at, well, the blue line is sitting at 35 cents. So that's my ultimate bearish target for Cardano if we're going to continue going to low prices here. You'll see 45 cents first before you see 35 cents, but those are the bear targets for Cardano. Okay. Cardano, if it does decide to become bullish again, then you got some resistance with this high volume node currently sitting at 73 cents on the VRVP. And then you got a value area high here saying that 93 cent Cardano could possibly be another take profit target if you're gonna start selling your Cardano. Okay. Let me go ahead and turn the moving averages, see what the moving averages have to say. Yeah. You're below all the moving averages on Cardano. 200-day moving average is sitting at 73 cents. So I guess if you get above 73 cents, then you can start to become more bullish on Cardano. You can start being cautiously optimistic on Cardano. I'm trying to read the comments here on my TikTok streamers. Crypto Poppy thinks the bear market's already here. You might be right. Let's see. And Hansen thinks that if we go below 60K, that we're for sure in a bear market. Okay, try to see. Yeah. Yusef, you asked me about Ethereum. I already talked about Ethereum earlier. We'll take a look at it here real quick. I'll just summarize it. Ethereum's been in this descending channel since December of 2024. And if it keeps on going lower, then I see Ethereum going down to like $1,200, right? I just zoom in here. You got this big solid red candle here that could take you down to $1,400, but I think $1,200 Ethereum could be the ultimate bearish target for Ethereum. I wouldn't get bullish on Ethereum until we can start making higher highs on the price here. And looks like the last high that you have to beat now is about $2,100. So if Ethereum can just get above $2,100, then you can start being cautiously optimistic on Ethereum. But yeah, this is looking pretty bearish to me. Ethereum is below all the moving averages, and it's also in this descending down channel here. Let me just get rid of these lines here. Yeah, we know for sure that it's in the descending channel here. Would be nice if we could see Ethereum get above this white line here, this 21 EMA, which is currently sitting at $1,900. But yeah, it's looking pretty bearish for Ethereum. Like I said, I wouldn't be cautiously optimistic until Ethereum gets above the 21 EMA at $1,900, and then also gets above that that last high that it made at $2,100. Okay. Thank you for the compliments, Jim. I think I'm gonna make that the end of this stream here, guys. I'll try to go and stream again, either this time tomorrow afternoon, or maybe you might see me at my regular time that I normally do at like 5 or 6 p.m. East Coast time. But I do have some things I need to do with me being a landlord and stuff like that. And yeah, I got some things I need to do with my house tomorrow. But I'll try to either go live early in the afternoon or like 5 or 6 p.m. East Coast time tomorrow, and then we can take a look at the cryptocurrencies and see how it's doing so far. But wow, geez, looking bad, looking real bad. I see a lot of double-digit percentage drops here in cryptocurrency world. Bitcoin down 5%, Solana down 9%, Ethereum down 10%, Sui down 11%, Aptos down 10%, AVAX down 9%. And the list just goes on. Double-digit losses here in cryptocurrency world. Oof. All right. We'll see how things are tomorrow, guys. Anthony, I said that Bitcoin could come down to like 72K, which is where the 100 moving average support is on the 3-day chart. So yeah, it looks like Bitcoin might make its way down to that blue line at 72K. Okay, that blue number right there, 72K. All right, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Take advantage of the sale, like M. Brooks said. Sale day today. Crypto's going on sale. Go get some crypto. Take care, guys.